Welcome back to RMTS. Boys, we've had one insane week with life and all the shit that's going on. My hair shows it. Life shows it. Everything's going crazy right now. How's everything going with you, buddy? Because obviously I know this is going I don't even know if it started recording all that or just started now.
No,
But
it says 20 seconds, so I think we're
okay.
good. But I've just been playing more Ashes of Creation. It's a terrible game. It's an alpha, but just has like one of those addictive gameplay loops. And if it when it releases in like 7 years, it might be content. So I got to get good at it. And there's nothing else going on until next month with Pokemon, so we're just stuck here.
Yeah, it seems like everything's kind of just boring right at this second, other than like the life shit and the
hmm
politics stuff. It seems like everything is kind of just in a freeze until like the normal October, November swing of Call of Duty, Battlefield, Pokemon, and that's about it. And then it just swings again and goes
Well,
again.
that kind of seems like by design with YouTube because YouTube has like killed their platform. Everyone is getting like half the views for no reason and they just keep lying about it. So it's like, yeah, there's less activity. Everyone is even more crazy than ever and like social media cooked, but it's been that way since late summer. So it's one of those things
Oh,
like August is usually a lull, but sometimes you can get like an interest in September. No one gives a fuck about anything anymore.
well, we got 25,000 views on TikTok and like, I think it was like 150 comments or so. Absolutely. Trying to figure out if you're crazy or absolutely logical on the amount of bots and stuff on YouTube. And how many people we have asking how to do it is absolutely hilarious. So the fact that these tards absolutely have no idea what's actually going on YouTube with like things being pushed and not, organically pushed and everything else is absolutely insane to me. That these people are like, oh, I haven't heard of this creator in like 10 years. Oh, he's saying about how something throttled him completely. Wow,
Yeah,
that
that
can't be
tracks.
true. It's just like, oh my God, you guys are so, so,
It's
so
like you're
deluded.
so close to getting it. It's
You're
like the
so close.
people that think that Charlie Kirk's killer is a leftist, even though trans furry boyfriend,
You mean not a
Antifa.
leftist? You said is a leftist.
No, no, fuck, reset.
You tried. You tried. You actually want me to reset?
I don't
Are
know.
we?
What do you want to do, producer
No,
man?
fuck it. Fuck it. We'll do it live. No, exactly. He's not far right wing like everybody tried to pigeonhole him into. He's not exactly what Destiny said. He's not exactly what fucking Hassan tried to say and everything else. Because I think that they were genuinely trying to cover their ass.
Oh yeah, because
But
like everyone found the million clips of them calling for direct political violence and saying to kill people directly, not in Minecraft.
and it's just like, what the fuck are you actually saying?
hmm And
Like
then it's like,
that
oh,
that
how do
was
we
one of
blame
the
this on
topics I
the
had.
how do we blame this on the other side because of the only people we know how to blame?
Well, it happens really, really interestingly. So now Twitch, Reddit, and Discord all have been summoned to go in front of Congress
I'm so happy for that. Finally.
because you know what? Fuck you all. You don't need to pass go. You do not need to collect
hmm
$200. You do not need to be a part of this. Well, thanks guys. You did a great job. Hear
Also,
this out
like,
instead.
why would Discord lie? Because that's what came out. It's like, oh, there's no record of any Discord communications between these people. It's like, bro, the FBI is saying it, and they're about to release the logs. I like, there's a difference between like PR covering your ass and then perjuring yourself.
Exactly. And there's like absolutely no reason for them to come out and be like, okay, it happened here. They're not going to. Not only was it not a public server, I would assume, and that's going to be like their big point of contention.
hmm
Oh, it wasn't a publicly run server by us. So obviously we don't know what happens on private servers. And if they
You
don't know
still
what
got the
happens on private
logs.
servers, that's a big fucking issue. Like a big
They,
one.
yeah, but they have all the logs. That's why you can log in on another device, go into your server, and everything's there.
Exactly. But yeah, the fact that they are calling them out for all of the radicalizations on all of their platforms is absolutely insane. Like, are we actually going to see a drastic fucking change here? Now, do I know if they're going to or not? No.
Every
But
time we've said that for the last 14 years, it never happened. But maybe this is the time.
like it's so mind blowing to actually see what's going on because something is actually drastically happening right now.
Yeah.
And like I hate that it took Charlie, somebody like the best of the right. And let me just say that openly and cleanly. He was probably one of the best of the
Yeah,
right
it's one of the things
entirely.
where like I love Crowder, but there's situations where I'm like I can't bring up my love of Crowder here because we're like the aura in the room is a little too much to the left to be able to use his name without getting destroyed here.
Well, he's the funny, like, so to me, they go in categories. You have Charlie, who was like as virtuous and as moral as you possibly could be. Then you have
Hmm.
a shade over to the right a little bit farther, and you have Crowder, who is the funny one, who like shades his actual thoughts in with
Hmm.
jokes, and you're not really sure exactly where he's joking and what he's being honest about, and how all of that morphs together. And then you have the one who has now returned out of retirement, the
Hmm.
absolute badass of us all, Milo Yiannopoulos, who is absolutely going to destroy people's lives
Yeah.
like with words. It's going to be
Hmm.
hilarious. But he is all jokes, and you don't know where he lies at all because all of his interpretations and all of his thoughts are all jokes, and you don't know exactly where he lays.
Yeah, like Milo really plays with the there's truth behind every joke very well, but it also makes to where like you can't hard condemn him. Whereas with Crowder, there's like people have like brought Crowder quotes to me and stuff. I'm just like, yeah, I don't agree with that. But that's the thing. You don't have to agree with everything everyone has ever said ever. And that also applies to Kirk, but on like a far less level. Even though it's like it's very hard to find something disagreeable with because all those quotes are taken out of context. Where he said something about like, oh, black welfare dependency, he was saying that as like that is how the system is built, not that that is his opinion, and he thinks it's a bad thing that the system has been built to be created that way. So like they just take that quote of the bad part that he disagrees with, remove the disagreement, left is evil, and I'm not hiding that. Well, it's like left is evil. I'm tired of pretending that they're not at this point, even though I've been saying this for many years. Like throughout Trump's presidency, it became clear where it's like, oh yes, it is impossible to engage with the leftists because they just deliberately lie about everything, and
The,
everything else is about just covering up their evil.
the biggest one that I saw that everybody is fucking losing their minds over is him openly saying that he doesn't believe in empathy.
Even I completely agree with him though.
This is what he said, and then I will say the full entire quote. I can't stand the word empathy. Actually, I think empathy is made up, new age term, and it does a lot of damage. And that's where they're cutting it. None of the context, or
If even
none of the
without the
context after.
context, I completely agree with that. It's a made up thing for like yes, you can care about other people, but it's this new age word like synergy and all these other like corporatization fake buzzword slogans. He says it does damage. Like they need to end it before he even says that because when it's like, oh wait, he has another point to make here. I completely agree that this concept of empathy does incredible amounts of damage to actually real sympathy for others and compassion.
Okay, so this is what the quote actually is, and I'm actually going to clip some of it out too because he loved expanding on absolutely everything he said, and I think that shortening it to this point
Hmm.
actually makes it pretty well. The new communication strategy is not to do what Bill Clinton used to do, where he would say, "I feel your pain." Instead, it is to say, "You're actually not in pain." So let's just little, very short clip. Bill Clinton in the 1990s. It was about empathy and sympathy. I can't stand the word empathy, actually. I actually think empathy is made up. It's a new age term and it does a lot of damage, but it is very effective when it comes to politics. Sympathy, I prefer much more than empathy. It's a separate topic for a different time.
Yeah. Like I said, like just because you don't believe in empathy doesn't mean you don't have compassion. And clearly, Charlie Kirk filled with compassion. So once again, the left, it's just impossible to engage with them because it's all about lies, and they're actually just in the literal death cult at this point.
Well, and that's where I hate this specific thing that they're lying about as a whole. This quote about empathy doesn't mean anything if you're fucking a knuckle dragger. You're just gonna be like, oh, he doesn't have empathy. Everybody says that's bad. I'm gonna follow it. But dude, they use empathy, the term empathy, which absolutely has meant nothing forever. In diagnoses for NPD, you have it in diagnosis for ADHD, you have it in diagnosis for Machiavellianism. Like that shit is bad, like openly bad. It's a
Yeah,
big ass
that's
fucking
that's like
problem.
my favorite picture that I've seen recently because it just captures everything. If you find a way to put it on the screen all nice, because it's
Yeah,
very long, so it's tricky. But yeah, it is one of those things where it's also one of those terms where the left's like, oh, well, describe a leftist to me. You can't conservatives. What does woke mean? And then we're like, okay, so what does empathy actually mean? It's such a vague thing. But yeah, it's amazing how much leftist discourse is them pretending to not understand things, making discourse impossible. That's like all of Hassan and Destiny and all the debate bro stuff. That's everything about this where it's just like, yeah, you're pretending that the shooter is a conservative, even though there's a million things showing it isn't. The commie that I know, we are no longer friends because of this. He ended his friendship with me a bit ago over the immigration stuff that I disagree with, but then he unblocked me just to say, haha, he's one of yours, Lamau. And then I said, yeah, the person living with a trans dude that's Antifa, and whose mom said he's not conservative. He went the other direction, and we got concerned for him. And then he
okay,
said,
but I feel like we're missing the plot here, and I want to drag us back just slightly a little bit.
mm-hmm.
Nobody should die for the right to say things, regardless of what side they're on.
See, that's the thing. Like, that is just so base zero that I don't even need to touch on. I am furious at how evil it is to paint the shooter as a conservative.
I am too. But like, even if it was a conservative on conservative crime or left on left crime, I still don't want those people to die. I still want that. I still don't want there to be an issue. I still don't want any problems in these situations because as a whole, guys, we're all fucking human and it seems like it's brain numbing to fucking say it that way. But as a whole, guys, we're still having the same fucking problem that we had in the 60s. We're saying, "Oh my god, I don't agree with this person." You just turned Charlie Kirk into the next Martin Luther King Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it seems like nobody wants to fucking grasp that. Like, I don't understand.
I
Like, I
I
don't
mean
understand.
I'm fully understanding everything, and I'm actually upset 'cause I'm like, they're not going to make him the next Martin Luther King Jr. Charlie Kirk isn't going to get Charlie Kirk Day. He needs to. I think he absolutely deserves it after how much this tragedy has played out to at least balance things out. But still a little weighted on one side, and that's why I'm calling out all this stuff. And again, I'm tired of pretending that leftists are not evil. Like, if you still agree with leftist ideology after everything we've seen over the Biden administration, throughout COVID, over the last couple months, all the heated just evil throughout Trump becoming president, all the rhetoric we've seen from leftist streamers, just like exclusively leftist stuff, the millions of likes that people are getting for celebrating Charlie's death, like, you need to find a new party. Unless you actually are just consigned to being evil at this point.
And that is a part. That is a point that I think everybody genuinely should think about. If you're wishing death on anybody, like you didn't hear me at least,
Mhm.
Verlis at least, wishing those things happen to Biden. Nobody wanted them.
No. We just
Why are
wanted the
you?
senile old man that's incompetent out of office so he can actually, no, the thing is, going back to empathy, conservatives were the only people that had empathy for Biden because they saw an abused old man getting used for political purposes while no one else on the other side gave a fuck about him. He was just the hand puppet of the establishment, and we were like, this is fucking wrong, what they are doing to this poor old man.
Yeah. And it's not even empathy, it's sympathy. You see this shit go on in nursing homes. You see this shit go on with grandma and grandpa. Oh, they have to stay alive to keep the fucking checks coming in and everything else. So you fucking feel bad when you see somebody else having it happen to them. Like, the shit's not okay.
Mm-hmm.
The shit's openly not okay. And the fact that there was so many lies at so many different levels causes there to be such a difference of like, well, where was the start of the lies? Where was
Yeah.
the start of the issue?
Well, all
Because
the leftist talking points, because it was one of those things. If there's one Nazi in the room and there's 10 other people in the room, you got a room of 11 Nazis. All right? So if there's one person celebrating Charlie Kirk's death in the room and you just stay in that room, you're right there with them, buddy. We're just playing by your rules, and now you're upset. Oh, so that means you were lying about the rules the entire time. Get out of my life, you evil scumbag, dude.
well, this is the exact same thing that I believe we talked about probably about 2 months ago. And I think we talked about it with Woody on the Woody episode too. Is everybody doesn't want to understand the person on the other side of the computer as a human being. Somebody
I mean, I
doesn't
felt
want to
that my entire time on YouTube.
Yeah, but like nobody wants to understand that somebody on the other side of the aisle is a human. And the
Hmm.
fact that they're not a human means that you can say the most fucking heinous things about them. You can wish them to die. You can sit here and put whatever you want into like context of what they are. And all of a sudden, because as a whole, you don't see them as human, it doesn't fucking matter to you. And the fact that it doesn't fucking matter to you is fucking disgusting.
And the weird thing is, you see it more with the party of empathy, the dehumanization of those that they disagree with. Because, like, I can still see humanity on the other side of the screen, but that seems rarer for certain groups of people.
Like, why? Why would you want to hurt the person who wants to openly communicate with you, explain his thoughts, explain his thought process because of his religion? Because of his politics? Like, this is
Because
so
he's right.
asinine to me.
Because he debunks your arguments and your entire life shatters over that.
And that was the big part to me when I started looking at everything. Cause my mindset is I go on a deep dive of fucking everything when anything happens like this.
I'm not allowed to talk
I,
about my deep dives yet unless we start getting like gold buying and boomer supplement sponsors. We're still a few years away from my deep dives on what I've found.
I thought it was that dude that wore the backpack backwards. I thought that that's exactly who it was going to be found that it was.
Oh yeah, that guy was the most obvious culprit ever. But
I was like, not only does he thoroughly fit the bill, I could totally see him dating a trainee and this being a big ass problem. I could see it totally being him and him fitting the
also like
stereotype.
that, was that even a backpack backwards, or wasn't that actual tactical
No,
gear?
it was totally a retard carrying a backpack backwards and using a
Okay, so
bullhorn.
LARPing tactical gear.
Yes, exactly. And supposedly he was off of work today from fucking a construction site when he's worked 35 hours in the past 2 days. And it was Wednesday, in fact. But he's
The
on
thing
lunch.
is, I heard, but it's impossible, and we're never going to get the full information about this, as always. But I heard that that individual was a part of like the Discord group in the area that is connected to all of this.
Yeah, even in that clip where he's shown debating Charlie, they're only in Oklahoma. You may be
Hmm.
absolutely lost with the small difference in between Oklahoma and Utah, but they're talking like, and this is just rough estimates. We're talking like 150 to 300 miles, maybe. Like that's not far. We're not talking like more than a day trip
It's more than
for him to be
300
involved.
miles. It's got to be.
OSU to UVU, just
Hmm.
but like as a whole, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if he was involved. I wouldn't be the dude that was singing at the fucking hospital. We got Charlie in the neck. I totally thought that he might be implicated in something too. Like at some point, guys, like we have to start showing compassion. Like out and out compassion,
Yeah,
not
that's a
just
thousand miles.
it's 1,000 miles
Yeah,
from Oklahoma State
Oklahoma State to
University.
Utah Valley. Yeah,
Okay. But that's a day and a half worth of travel. That's not that bad.
16
It's not
hours.
crazy. Yeah. But it's just it's stupid. It's fucking stupid. It's stupid. And I fought against cancel culture so fucking much. But it's one thing if like you're sitting here making jokes about people and they're still walking around and they're still allowed to shoot back and everything else. But how can you say somebody died and openly make jokes at their expense when they can't shoot a joke back? Like it doesn't make any fucking sense to me. And
Hmm.
it's starting to seem really fucking counterproductive at some point, especially when all these people are now crying on social media because they're all losing their jobs. They're all getting canceled.
Yeah.
And it's fucking asinine. You
I
know how many
love it.
people
Again,
I've
like if you're going to be so dishonest about the rules, fine, we'll play by your rules because you didn't expect that, and now, oh, it turns out we're better at your game than you. Dang, sucks to be that. And the thing is, it's always different too. Like this is the celebration of someone being brutally killed for a political assassination. That is that should not be tolerated in any workforce. It's one of those things where, like, you don't have freedom of speech in the workplace. You can't call a coworker a slur. You are fired. You cannot do that even on outside of the workplace. Like, if you go to the bar or if you stand in front and you start screaming profanity, your boss is going to see you and say, "We can't have you work for us." So it's like a reasonable thing to fire people over.
Not even to that level.
Yeah, well, that's what I
In
mean.
your
Like, it's not even that level. So even if you're celebrating death or something,
in
however,
your
the
code of
people that,
conduct, you're
yeah,
not allowed to flirt with your fucking workmates. You're not allowed to do this. You're not allowed to do like what makes you think that on your social media where you know, put your fucking job, you fucking idiots. Like why would you ever say, "Oh, I work at this company?" Let alone if it's a big thing. Why the fuck do you ever put that at all?
yeah. Also, like, we got to dial it back because I think everyone has lost what real life is. So, like, you go and watch 90s and early 2000s shows and stuff. That's always a plot line in a sitcom is that, oh, you had a fling with a coworker outside of work, the sex was bad, and now you're fired. And then, like, that was common. That was a natural response to the world because there's still outside of workplace etiquette. But then it is just the disparity where it's like, okay, celebrating this death, yeah, that is unacceptable code of conduct behavior. But then the things that conservatives got fired for was like the most mundane stuff. So it's
Or
there's
things that
always a
happened
difference.
before their job even was
Yeah.
created or like
Or
it's
yeah,
just
it's like, okay, 10-year-old Twitter post before the company even existed, or the thing you did yesterday because you're filled with evil and hate. Not the same. And that's another thing I've seen where people are like, "Oh, but when conservatives celebrated Pelosi getting hammered, that's no different than Kirk being killed." It's like, what? No one was doing that. It's like, yeah, but there was Donald Trump Jr. He did the picture of the hammer and underwear and said that's my Halloween costume. It's like, yeah, he's not celebrating death. He's not promoting violence. He's just like, this is a weird, funny thing that happened. Because that shit was weird. It's like leftists can't even point to an actual hateful, insightful, violent thing conservatives do, and their best example is, yeah, but why was he in his underwear with someone like with a not a family friend, but with like a homeless acquaintance that he let in
another
with a hammer?
dude.
Yeah, but that thing like they had history, so like he let in someone who knew they had some kind of underwear-ridden drug thing happen, and they were both out of his mind. Like, he was drunk as fuck, and then they got hammered right in front of the cops. So, like, that is the strangest thing that you have to make some kind of commentary on, but no one's like, oh, damn, Pelosi should have been killed because he trades stocks. Like, no one seriously thought that. That was Indian bot farming, and every conservative condemned it.
Yeah, and there's no reason to actually be a human that thinks that way.
There aren't any humans that think that way. It's just bots. Unless you're on the left where you actually genuinely are excited. These are humans getting fired from their jobs for loving that Charlie Kirk died and calling for more killings.
So before we fully get off this,
Mm-hmm.
was there any furry propaganda of retardation in this bullshit? Because I know you know a little bit more of the slang than I do, as it goes with the furry shit, and I know some people were pointing to the ooh notices bulge shit as that being furry propaganda and furry adjacent.
That started furry, but apparently the trans community has co-opted that because now it's actually just kind of like that's a presenting girl with a bulge kind of thing, which now lines up with the
Yeah,
roommate.
that sounds retarded. I feel retarded for asking that question now
You're like, wait a
because
second, yeah, that's
that
trap talk.
that totally makes logical sense.
Hmm. But it started with furries because it's all role play. So
Yeah,
it's woo you got a bull. Whoa. So like it started furry
ugh,
role play, got taken over by the trans community, and yeah, that is actually correct. And then we can see
yeah.
like that there's just a Discord group of like I think Cash said it's over 20 now. There's over 2 dozen people in that Discord group that knew about the killing coming up, and it was just like the Utah furry community. Did you see the IHOP pictures or the Denny's pictures
Yeah.
where they did their furry meetups? Yeah, it's hilarious, but
And
tragic,
then you
but
have not
not
only that, but you have the situation where they are the anti-fascist group of people in Salt Lake City. You have the dude who was screaming like a 1920s style song about how they got Charlie in the neck. Like you have a song being released the same exact day that Charlie gets killed. No, it was a month before. Sorry. Let me
Hmm.
count that correctly. It was a month before. There was a book before the day before Charlie got
Oh
assassinated.
yeah, that was the weird thing about that LARPer where they were like, "Big things are happening tomorrow. Just stay tuned." It's like, okay, he did it.
Yeah, no, he was absolutely a part of it. He was already a part
Hmm.
of the Discord. They already. I want to know what happens next. Like, is there actually going to be charges for people that knew?
There needs to be. And if there isn't, then this is why, like, we just need to start another country like we did back in. There's another revolution on the way. Like, this has to be it. Because we're already seeing it with, like, the person that killed the girl on the subway. He's in a mental institution now and not in prison for murdering someone because the judge went, eh. And that's like so many judges. The reason why there's so much crime in the country is because judges just go, you can go back on the street for killing someone. We don't care. You're not white, so
Okay.
you're free to go.
But like a mental institution, like if they went back to the ones where it was asylums and you couldn't get the fuck out, I would completely agree with that.
Yeah, but that's
Hey,
not the system now. So he's back on the street. They're just covering it up. They're brushing away. They're burying him in the system. He's back on the street in a year for killing someone.
but you know what I'm saying? Like if it was asylums,
Yeah.
like back in the day,
Oh,
that might actually be the correct answer. That might actually be the
I'm
step in the
I'm
right
mixed on
direction.
that because there's the whole thing of like, oh, this person isn't fit to stand trial. If that is the case of that person, there is no reform, there is no rehabbing. That means we're just spending $1 million in taxpayer money to keep them miserable in an asylum forever. We need to be more liberal with our capital punishment. If that's the case, it's like you cannot exist in society. In the past, you know how that was
Okay,
dealt with?
this might actually be a logical answer to this, and it might give both of us, okay, that's probably the right answer. It doesn't perfectly
Yeah, I know
fit
you're
either
giving me an
side of
out, but
us.
again, I'm furious. I don't care anymore.
No, no, I completely agree with
Oh,
you. I
all
understand where
right.
you're
Let's
coming
let's hear
from.
it then.
Say if they were diagnosed with something before they were arrested, those people, asylums, they might not understand. Then it is up to the judge's discretion at that point. If there has been no diagnosis, absolutely they face complete full trial completely and they are at complete
That's
fault of the
that's
law.
really good. We're just like, yeah, you can't just be like after the fact. Oh, it turns out they're not competent. It's like, well, then why wasn't this diagnosed before? But if it was
Exactly.
before, okay, I get it. I like that idea.
Like, oh, this
I
person's 50 IQ. This person has this derangement.
mm,
This person has this severe mental illness. Absolutely.
mm.
I
Well, then
want to
also
show
like,
compassion. I understand. Hey, they might not fully grasp it. They might not fully understand.
yeah.
But guess what? You want to know how many people there are like that in this world? Very fucking few. Let's fucking handle them first.
Well, it doesn't seem like there's a few because there's a lot of these like. Well, I guess it is an overwhelming where it's like, oh, if you see one a week in the media, that sounds like a lot. And that's only 100 people in the country. So actually, you're right. It is very few. We just need to find a way how to offload that burden because, like, if these are homeless people, they don't have family that can pay for this stuff, but it shouldn't be our responsibility to pay for someone that just killed another person. It's like, how do we unwind that?
We hire El Salvador to handle all of our mental institution patients, and
I
we pay them
I'm
33 cents per person.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, I'm actually like not against it because if we export the criminal to be used for labor, not our problem anymore. That's what their choice is.
Or we put them up in a place like the mental health mansion where they take care of cows and horses for the rest of their life. And that is how we deal with our cows. And then we get cheaper cow and beef that way.
How do you do that? Like, no one wants to run that facility where you have like 10 murderers that are 60 IQ running around with animals.
Okay, but think about it. In the 1920s, how many 60 IQ people were thoroughly running fucking farms? Because they
Not
just understood, they just didn't understand people.
no that no smart farmers are smart. Even out
I'm not
rural
saying I'm
rural
not saying all of
1920s.
them. I'm just saying, like, if you look at the rural 1920s, there are going to be a subset of those people being the people that are like the dipshits who absolutely are incest babies who have
And
absolutely
they
done
aren't the
nothing with their life.
farmers. They're just like the town
The
fools.
handlers, yes, exactly
They're
my
not
point.
handlers.
Put them in a place where we don't have to see anything, we don't have to worry
No,
about it.
actually no. You know what debunks you of mice and men? Lenny is fucking useless. He had to get killed off because he can't handle any animals even. He's too incompetent for that. So there is no purpose for them. That's the entire point of the book. You
Okay, so
lose, Zach.
we bring back chain gangs and we make them walk the side of every single highway and clean it up.
Yeah, there we go. Like the most unfallible, incompetent thing. It's like, oh, that's cruel and unusual. You know what else is? Killing someone.
Exactly.
If you don't want them to face the same punishment for their actions, then we can at least have clean highways forever. And then we
Like
give them a pudding cup at the end, so it's okay.
exactly. Like
I will subsidize that pudding cup. I'm okay with going that far.
I fucking hate it because you want to see value in everybody's life. You do. You genuinely should. But at some point, like when there's people committing murders and violence like this at this rate, obviously we need to handle shit. And we have a culture problem, we have a situation problem, and we have a mental illness problem. So let's start handling them in the ways that we see fit. Because at some point, guys, what the fuck are we doing?
It's one of those things like you just go back 1,000 years, like we used to have proper societies because stuff like that was dealt with in a correct way.
Well, I think we had more morality. We had harder stances on everything. Were we wrong about some things? Abso-fucking-lutely. But we had such a hard stance on absolutely everything that it didn't make it so that way there was such a wiggle room for like this or that to be okay or not okay or whatever. Like it just made it so that way it was so much more logical and so much more straightforward. Like this answer gives this response. There is no way to play with it. There is no way to change it. There is no way to say I'm incompetent and unable to face it. Like there's nothing.
Yeah.
So the last thing before we go into these crazy fucking statistics, do you feel like they should be tearing up the ground that Charlie was killed on?
It sounds like they're making a memorial, and I don't think everything's a conspiracy theory.
So you see it in the positive light of like, hey, they're doing the right thing. They're looking at it correctly. It's no
Yeah.
longer let's not change any of it. Let's memorialize this and
Well, people are like they're cleaning up the crime scene. It's like if it's not that, and then I don't care.
the FBI was there within, hours. I think that they have everything. It's not like they kept Dealey Plaza completely closed to everybody forever.
Yeah, you can walk that down and follow whatever path you want, the bullets or JFK's.
I do think that there might be a situation where there was more people there that know more things at minimum, if not had backup to do things. I do think that maybe, just maybe, he might not have shot. It might have been somebody else. That bullet path doesn't make a lot of sense, especially with how he fell. But that's just looking at it and saying, hey, there might be more answers. Because there thoroughly might be. Do I think he was a part of it? Yeah, I don't think he's a patsy. I don't think he's just the fall guy. I think he definitely was a part of something. So, do you feel like he should get the death penalty?
Wait, are you saying like other people were involved with Kirk?
Yeah.
I don't think that doesn't matter. I'm against that because like it is weird that one guy was trying to give the shooter cover, but that could just be a crazy leftist, and they're like,
He's
he
been
has.
arrested.
I know, but then they're like, he has Republican voter registration that is like invalid and has a default placeholder. So like the dude registered and voted for Reagan, and then has been unaffiliated since because he became a complete loon. That's now trying to give cover
Oh,
for assassins.
he's fucking insane. Have you ever heard his rap sheet? Supposedly, he saw 9/11 happen.
See, that's when I see things like that, I'm just like,
Hold
nah,
on.
that has to
It
be
gets
fake.
crazier.
That
He
has to be.
also was at the Boston bombing.
Yeah, I know that. Like, this has to be all fake.
Then it gets crazier. He called in a bomb threat to the Salt Lake City Marathon and was there. And then was at this as well.
See, I can't. I have a hard time believing that's real. If it is, it has a lot of implications. But I think the shooter didn't have any support. There was no hand signals. It's just a radicalized Discord leftist that went full extremist terrorist. Took his
Yeah.
shot.
I do want to say this because I think a lot of people are going off the deep end a little bit with the people behind Charlie. They were calling out the sniper that they saw. They were moving, and as they were moving to handle the problem, because they were calling it out with the hand signals that they were doing, he was shot within 2 seconds. There was no time for anything to change or be affected in that situation.
I that's
It's
like
not their
another
negligence.
weird thing about, well, it is negligence to not just throw him to the ground immediately, even on like a false threat. Like if there was a shadowy figure on a roof after we've had what
There
happened to
was two.
Trump.
There was the sniper, and then there's somebody up on a stair set that's dressed as a bush.
I haven't seen that.
Or I will get it
Yeah.
for you. But
But
yeah,
what I'm saying is, like, if you see a shadowy figure on a roof after what happened with Trump, you immediately cancel everything. You cannot take those risks. Which is also why, like, the weird thing is we don't have inside information because, like, Charlie's team hasn't said anything about this, which makes sense because it's an ongoing investigation. Like, no one came out and said, like, oh, we saw the dude and we were too late. I'm so sorry. Like, if, like, there's a lot of holes that people are conspiring on.
so I'm gonna pull this up. I gave you the image. It'll be clearer on your screen than it will be
Yeah, I
on
see
ours.
this.
But
Does this bush look suspicious? See, that's why I mean we're just like now we're on crazy conspiracy land.
no, but that you can't see it on the screen.
But
That looks
that,
like a person.
however, that's behind. Like they can't even see Charlie because he has his background behind him on the thing, and that doesn't look like a
This
person.
isn't behind him. This is in front of him. This would be to the side. The side where they were
All right.
saying that
Well, I'm
the
looking at like the
trajectory makes
America get
sense.
involved, and like it's the field of view where it
Yeah.
seems like that's the background we're looking at. But
No, this is to the
yeah,
right. This would be to the right of
yeah, yeah,
where.
yeah. If that's the case, even then, like that's still not
I'm just
like
saying it's
we
fishy.
don't
Like
have any we don't have any pictures like okay, where did that picture come from? Was that like a part of like a video panning shot or something? And then where's that picture a minute later? Is the bush still there? Where's the picture before where it's like, oh, it's actually just a stationary bush? Like, yeah, so that's what I mean. Like, when we get into stupid stuff like this, there's no second shooter that became the grassy knoll here. It is one lone insane person. Well, not lone, but like one radicalized insane person in a group that had no coordination.
yeah, it's weird. Like there's always stupid little things. Like should this be looked at? Maybe. Who the fuck knows? Who the fuck
Hmm.
knows? I don't know. It could
But
be
yeah, and
something.
then
It
going
could
back
not
to
be
it's like
something.
the thing that gets me is also like even though it is hard to talk about that and some people just don't want to hear about the gritty details of what happened. Like I don't want to see the camera that was 3 feet from his face and people are saying release that footage. Fuck no on that one. But what I'm saying is I want like what does his team have to say about this? Was like I'm my morbid curiosity is did he die instantly? Because I've heard that take. But then Tim Pool made a tweet saying like, oh, Charlie's stable. And then that also spikes my curiosity of like, is his like was their medical team that good? Because there's some very crazy trauma stories that come out from time to time. Whereas like
So
severed artery sounds like death, but there's also people that have lasted long enough to survive that.
so this is where like I start to feel a little bit. I had a neck injury. I was given a 20% chance of death because of like the neck's just complicated. So if we're just going off the wound and not him like falling to the ground and having all of the nervous problems that obviously he had, and we're just going off the blood and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
it seemed like his jugular was probably imploded and it was hit directly.
Yeah.
That's the reason why they said that I had a 20% chance. That
Mm-hmm.
it's in a relatively similar spot. You know what
Yeah.
I'm being like, just from my experience, it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
But
honestly, makes sense.
but that's all. But like then like we're probably not gonna get again. It's one of those things like you don't hear about the gruesomeness of the story of like his medical team and what they saw and their story about that. But that's kind of like something I kind of want to know about, not because of it being Charlie, but like how do people survive that kind of thing? Because people not necessarily actually people probably definitely survive gunshot wounds straight to the jugular with how much shootings just happen in the world. So
Well,
like,
the weird thing to me, and I don't want to say interesting, but
mhm,
like the thought provoking thing here for me is I didn't see any holes in his tent. They're saying that
mhm,
they shot a 308 that absolutely should have went
yeah.
straight through
And
his
that's
neck.
another weird thing about conspiracy when it's not really conspiracy. If you get like, it's one of the things like I know this is not a proper thing, and people are gonna be offended trying to get into this much detail about it. But I think it is one of those things where you need to understand the full picture and take reality into it. Because if you talk to hunters, they're like, yeah, I shot the buck right in the heart and somehow the bullet exited out of its foot. Because sometimes the bullet will just grab into an artery and ride it and do whatever
Mhm.
the fuck it wants. So I've seen people say, like, oh, it looks like he got shot in the chest and then it exited out the front through his jugular because that kind of looks like an exit wound. And
And
I'm
that's what I thought, and that's
and I
where a
don't
lot of
yeah,
people are going with the second
and I'm
shooter.
not trying. No, see that's the thing is that's yeah, but so I'm not trying to make that a conspiracy thing. I'm saying like there's actually a 5% chance that is reality, which is why I want to just understand how these things happen. Because like a personal fear of mine is that I'm just fucking around the house, I trip, and then I cut my neck on something stupid, and like that's just GG. And
Yeah.
I think a lot of people have that. It's not again, you don't want to think about morbid things. You don't want to get involved in that kind of stuff. But then the thing is like, okay, how do you survive that? How do people survive that? I think everyone's not everyone, but a lot of people have seen the video of that guy that got sliced by a skate on TV live. One dude
Mhm.
died recently, but back in the old days, like have you seen like the original one in
Yeah.
like the 90s or something? Yeah. Like that guy survived. That dude got his neck cut, blood everywhere, skates over to his like
His
over to the
bench.
bench, and then his aide was right there, and then was able to like stop that. Now that's not a complete severing, but it just seems like an impossible thing. Like I thought you only had that 10 seconds. Like by the time you make it to the bench, you're already dead, and at that point you've already lost too much blood. That even if someone gets to you, how do they save you? And he did an interview at the end of the game. They got him all patched up and just sutured up right there. So it's like there is a weird way to survive that, and that's why I kind of want to know like what the first responder
Well,
interpretation was. Were they like, oh, he's already dead because the shockwave severed his spine? Is that what happened? Or
I
were
think I think that's absolutely what
yeah?
happened. Like
See that?
regardless of if you
Mhm.
believe in the front shot and
Yeah,
it hit his jugular and went wherever because obviously it didn't come out. That was the most impactful thing to me is like, okay, it's still in there.
hmm
This is fatal. They cannot fish in your
yeah.
neck.
Well, I guess
This is
okay.
a big
I guess
problem.
the better way for me to like explain my curiosity on this was like, was it survivable in any capacity? Is the only thing I want to know because again, like
If
Temple making that weird
if it went
tweet.
clear and went through,
Yeah,
I think absolutely if it didn't fully explode his jugular or
yeah,
explode the artery, he could have survived. He
yeah.
might have been
Even
paralyzed because it might have fully severed his spine, or that's the differences
not
that you're
severed spine,
looking
but
at.
like at least like or cause enough blood like lost to the brain to where like there's some
Yeah,
kind of damage. But like and then like okay, so what are the odds of surviving that? Like 2%, 5%? Is it something surprising? Because like oh, his medical team is 3 feet away from him, so if they jump in on 5, 10 second, 15 seconds, then he's actually mostly fine. So
yeah.
like that's one of those things. Or was he actually killed instantly and no one reported on it properly because they had so much hope? Because you also have to like, oh, he can make it. You know, like people survive neck
Mhm.
wounds. Please make that a thing. But it's like no, he actually like died instantly. But also maybe the back pressure. Like if you get hit in jugular and all that pressure just goes in your brain and then you hemorrhage. So like you can fix the artery, but he's already hemorrhaging the brain and it's gone anyway. So that's what I mean. Like I just don't know how those trauma things work. And I find the fascination of survival more than the morbidity of the action. I'm trying to justify that because I know I'm saying fucked up. I'm having fucked up one like curiosity.
Worries. Yeah,
Worries, yeah.
like
It's a
you
fucked up
want to know how
curiosity,
it.
but I want to know how it works.
Yeah, and I think that that is such a normal thing, especially
Yeah.
when
It's normal, but people don't
you know
talk about that.
there's horror movies and there's movies like
Oh, I
Final
hate those.
Destination where it's
I
like,
cannot watch a gore film.
but like you can sit here and watch those things and be like, well, how the hell does that work?
Hmm
Or like how does life line up to make this specific thing happen? And you know, there is lineups. There's lineups in all of your life where it's like, okay, well, if this and this happen, this happens. And it's like, okay, so how does that affect me? How does that affect where all of these things line up? And it just gets confusing because
hmm
you see something like this where it's like, okay, well, there's five different answers. And it's like, well, how do each one of those impacts change the way that this looks or change the way that the outcome is? It's like nobody will ever know, but like it doesn't make you inhuman to wonder what if or why or
Yeah.
how this works.
It's also a weird like PTSD or PTSD fucking
PTSD.
as we saw early on, my brain not feeling great after playing hundreds of hours of games in the last week, and also there's like no motivation. Like Legends EA sucks, and like I haven't turned on my brain in like 4 months because there's no reason to. But yeah. So with all that, you also don't want to be like so trauma expert that has actually done these things. Please explain in detail how this plays out. Like a lot of people just don't tell those stories. They do their job and then they bury it.
Yeah, and you even saw that with the Trump attempted assassination too. Like people like Brennan Herrera got shit on for making his video saying that it was plausible that, he avoided death by that much.
Yeah.
Oh, it wasn't just, a paper cut. It wasn't just a roughing up from the gun hitting his ear or whatever when
Mm-hmm.
they tackled him. It was actually a problem. And it's just like
Now, yeah.
somebody explaining it is a problem. That doesn't make any sense to me.
And I'm also aware that there's probably like people that know the story that are also just like you don't want to know. Like the people like everyone's like not everyone, but like their friends have to know, and like someone had to tell them like yeah, and what happened there, and they probably even like know about the bullet trajectory a lot better. Like I kind of want to see the coroner's report where it's just like oh yeah, the bullet wound in his chest, and then it did ricochet around. I just want to know the truth. I just want to find the fucked up way to getting to what actually happened there because it was a beloved person and nothing makes sense. And you also want to be hopeful that there was a chance.
Well, I don't want to say nobody, but I think a majority of people didn't want him to die.
Well, yeah.
Like, I think everybody feels sad and depressed about a father and
Mm-hmm.
somebody who
Well, that's
we
why
all
like
kind of like.
was like who told Tim that Charlie was stable and like is that real or was he already like was he dead instantly and we don't have a way to parse out the truth because no one's spoken out about it because it's not something that anyone wants to speak about.
It's exactly like nobody wanted to hear Erica crying and bawling her eyes out,
Mm-hmm.
saying, "Oh, well, the baby's asking where's daddy." Dude, that's the most heartbreaking fucking thing in the world.
Yep.
What are you even talking about? Like, nobody wants to hear that. Like, even if you zoom out and you're like, "Oh, a deadbeat dad walked away from their kid," you don't want to hear where's daddy.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to hear where's mommy. Like, this is fucking heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Let alone emergencies like this.
Yeah. Let alone tragedy. We're just
So
like, oh, daddy went to jail for selling drugs versus gone.
a U.S. senator from Missouri, Eric Schmidt, went through and found some statistics from ABC News, NPR, and Rutgers. And these are disgusting to me. I don't know if you saw them or not, but ABC News reports 87% of Democrats view Trump as a fascist. Once
See, I don't
again,
believe
extreme
polls.
rhetoric. But ABC News,
Hmm.
they have zero reason not
I
to shade that more
but that's
towards acceptance.
I thought ABC was one like if it's not Fox, they're leftist.
That's what I'm saying is like they're going to shade that more towards this being an accepted view. So they're probably going to lower that percentage, in my opinion. NPR, 47% of Democrats say the rise of fascism is their top political concern.
Yeah, it just sounds like the most fake shit ever. Because, like,
And 50,
I've looked into polls and stuff where just like, oh, it turns out they only had like 800 people. And then if they want
yeah,
to skew those numbers, they're going to call certain demographics. Or was it like an online poll where, like, oh, yeah, I got this, I got my numbers from Reddit. I looked at the top. I looked at the top post of the day about the assassination. I took the sentiment of all the top comments and likes, and my estimation is 60% instead of actually getting. I didn't get polled. I didn't say fuck no. There's no issue with
yeah, exactly.
fascism. Where the like I don't know anyone that's ever been polled. The normal people never get involved with this, and because it's all skewed to the left on the media, you're not going to get any human
And
response.
then it says Rutgers, 55% of the Americans on the left believe assassinating Trump would be at least somewhat justified.
Now I do believe that just from what I've experienced. Like and that's another thing. Like, oh, somewhat justified. What does that mean? Even though it's like there's zero justification, but I can understand how even just like a left leaning person can jujitsu their mind into that one.
ABC has now pulled Jimmy Kimmel completely off the air for the
That's
comments
great.
about Charlie Kirk.
That's like the cancel culture's working.
even though his comment was very, very fucking retarded and not even funny, like it wasn't even that far. Let me honestly say that it is absolutely the right thing to do. And
Yeah.
I think that they were trying to find a reason to justify removing him anyway.
Hmm. See, when you are at such like a professional high level, like that is one of the most watched people ever. You can't pick a side like that.
And this one baffles me even more. So at 3 p.m., President Obama broke his silence on Charlie Kirk's assassination by blaming Trump for fueling political violence by declaring Charlie's ideas wrong. I will say that these extreme views were not in my White House. I wasn't embracing them, I wasn't empowering them, and I wasn't putting the weight of the United States government behind extremist views. That is the most tone deaf thing I have ever fucking heard this retard say ever in my life.
That's just the evil of the left now. They have to do everything to deflect it off of them because this is unavoidable at this point, even though it's already been unavoidable for the last 8 years.
He said, I didn't know Charlie Kirk. I was generally aware of some of his ideas, and I think those ideas were wrong. Okay, like, am I so crazy to believe state what you said was what you thought was wrong? You fucking idiot. Where did you think he was wrong? Where was he an extremist? He was the most centrist of centrist of centrist that you've ever fucking heard of.
I wouldn't say most centrist because like I would just say like direct Christian conservative, like the most that instead of far or anything right leaning, but like
Oh,
center for us.
yeah,
Yeah.
like now
But don't
he
say
is like
centrist, center like that.
no, he's like the 1990s fucking center Democrat Republican, like somebody who could flip either side, but doesn't like abortion. And that's like the
Yeah.
major thing. Like he's actually religious.
That is weird, like how spooky it is if like you go back to the '90s and how like conservative Democrats were by today's standards. Where it's just like, bro, they'd call Democrats from the '90s a Nazi. That's where we're
That
at.
that's what my point was like he is this he's what the center was.
Hmm. Yeah, classical centrist.
Yeah. Which I think honestly, maybe I'm just speaking for myself. Both of us kind of are too.
I mean, I'm getting more radicalized. We've all
Oh,
watched it. My black pills kicked in of like I would have stayed classical centrist if things didn't go so crazy.
that's what I'm saying is like most of our ideas are the center ideas from the 90s.
Hmm.
It's the center ideas from when we grew up. You know what I'm saying? And the things have just shifted so far that it makes us look like we're so fucking far right that we're thinking, religion might be a logical answer now. It's like, what the fuck is this? I've noticed that there's been some confusion, I think, around this lately. And frankly, coming from the White House and some other positions of authority that suggest, and I guess even before we had determined who the perpetrator of this evil act was, that somehow we're going to identify an enemy. We're going to suggest that somehow an enemy was at fault. What the fuck are you saying, Obama? You're literally saying none of your beliefs. You're just saying Charlie Kirk is bad for dying? Like, what the fuck are you even trying to suggest?
Yeah. Well, it's because like it's obvious who did it, and you gotta deflect. Can't have an honest conversation about what happened because your evil side is finally being exposed.
Or somebody has quotes by Obama underneath of this, and it's
And that's
fucking
what I mean. That's the favorite thing because Neil deGrasse Tyson, he got fucking destroyed. Did you see that?
no, I didn't.
Let me go and dig that one up.
So these are all Obama quotes. They bring a knife, we bring a gun. I want you to argue with them and get in their face. I don't want to quell anger. I think people are right to be angry. I'm angry. Hit back twice as hard. We talk to these folks, so I know whose ass to kick. Republican victory would mean hand to hand combat. Punish your enemies, and I'm itching for a fight.
That's what I
Like,
mean. Like
what in the fuck?
he charged the rhetoric more than what he's accusing. Fuck. I'm trying to search the thing because he deleted it, and I need to find like getting everything together. Keep going.
No, I just when you have him going so far with everything that he did with Black Lives Matter and pushing that ideology so fucking far, it is so hard to just look at this shit and be like, "Oh, what the fuck's going on? What the fuck actually is going on?" Because it doesn't fucking make sense. So most Americans say it is unacceptable to be happy about public figures' deaths, but younger and more liberal Americans are more likely to call it acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
So political ideology, very liberal, 24 out of 100 are willing to say that it is always or usually acceptable. That's fucking insane. And very conservative is at 3.
I
Some of
need
this
to
shit is
find
fucking
this.
insane.
I need to find this now because like since he deleted his thing, I can't find any discussion about it. And then because of that, Twitter search is just dog shit now, and I don't remember who was actually like posting it. So to not get it lost, now I have to go through this dig.
Oh, and there's even more context to this. This person posted Barack Obama signals for the audience to stop clapping after he says Charlie Kirk's ideas were wrong. He did not want a big reaction to this comment, but he got one. As the audience erupted in applause, Obama looked visibly frustrated and motioned with his hand to stop, telling
Was it
them to
not
cut
Neil
it out.
deGrasse Tyson? I could have sworn it was.
It's just a terrible optic, and he knows it. There's no way in hell he was generally aware of some of his ideas. And then you have some of Joe Biden's quotes. Donald Trump and MAGA Republicans are a threat to the very soul of this country. Donald Trump is the greatest threat to our democracy. Donald Trump is a genuine threat to this nation. He is a threat to our freedom. He is a threat to our democracy. He is literally a threat to everything America stands for. Donald Trump is a threat to our democracy. We
So I mean, like
cannot let
this
him
is
win.
all that they keep saying: the threat, 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 hate, hate, hate.
I'm in Madison, Wisconsin, talking to folks about what is at stake in this election. Tune in. Trump poses many threats to our country, the right to choose, civil rights, voting rights, and America's standing in the world. But it is our greatest threat he poses to our
Oh, not Neil
democracy.
deGrasse. Morgan J. Freeman. I dream of America with no Matt Gates,
Yep.
MTG, Jim Jordan, Charlie Kirk. And then we must come together around condemning this cruel and violent assassination when he said he wants these people eliminated.
And that wasn't the only list that has gone out of saying the people that they're going to do this to. The the um the group, you know how they said that there's radicalized trans people and everything else, and how, the violence and everything is increased in those groups and stuff like that. Those people also went through and put a list out on Blue Sky of a whole bunch of people, including Charlie Kirk
Mm-hmm.
and J.K. Rowling, Matt Gates, and there was a few other people. I think Candace Owens, Nick Fuentes, and there was like 3 or 4 other people there that they wanted to also have this same fate. And it's just like, it's fucking disgusting. This is why you don't call people fucking Hitler, you fucking idiots. Just saying somebody is so evil and irredeemable that, they're not repairable is fucking insane.
Now we're falling back into the rhetoric after the Trump attempt.
Yeah.
Oh
It's
yeah, and
just
speaking
like,
of
who?
Obama, I didn't expect this to line up. The thing I sent you about the clock, where it's just
Yeah.
like Obama said some dumb stuff. I think the clock beats it.
I thought I brought it up. I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, the clock even makes him look fucking retarded too.
And also, you can see like just the deliberate cultural division that Obama seeded in this country, and that the left started with all of like this hate and stuff for God knows whatever reason.
Let's use this one. This one probably works better.
Remember when libs actually believed if you thought this looked like anything other than a clock, you were a vile Islamophobe, and it was enough to cause such a massive outrage, the president had to virtue signal about it. because a kid took that to school in the midst of a terror fear and all
And
these other issues and other school shootings and stuff that have been happening. And then
and he
like, oh
said,
no, you're
"Cool
wrong.
clock, Ahmed. Want to bring it to the White House? We should inspire more kids like you to like science. It's what makes America great."
Which is
Yeah.
the most bafflingly stupid thing ever because that's not even science. That's a $10 kit you buy at Toys R Us to put 3 wires in place and then you plug it into a potato. Instead, he decided to plug it into something that looked like a bomb.
Like you plugged it into a briefcase, dude. You look like you're playing Call of Duty.
And also
That's about all you did.
the most inefficient clock ever made. Or like, why is it in a briefcase? How do you tell the time with that? Like, you made a prop that looks exactly like a bomb from a movie scene. It's got wires running out of it. For some reason, I have to plug it in with a fucking lamp cord. He made
But
nothing. And if anything, it's not that he did it. His dad wanted to create some kind of controversy. They got their 5 minutes of fame, and now the kid doesn't do anything. Like, what has he done? I remember seeing a post years ago. It's like, I don't think he amounts to anything. So, congratulations. You can't build a clock properly, and now you have no aspirations to be an engineer.
if I remember correctly, he also got like invited by MIT to do some shit. He got invited to like UCal or something like that to do some shit as well. And like he went and did it, and it was just like a photo op, and that was
Yeah.
like the only thing that he did.
When you get an honorary degree because you're a football player or something, and then it's like, yeah, well, but what about the actual smart kids that are building real things where they take like 20 of those kits and they create something new out of it entirely because they actually are an engineer? But no, instead, like that was just the commie agenda back then.
So have you seen the outfall on Destiny and Hassan
hmm
since everything has happened?
I'm waiting for like Hassan's ban, like Destiny getting banned, whatever. That's not news. Hassan needs to go down. If that happens, then I can finally get excited and feel joy in my life again.
It sounds stupid, but I saw the clip of Hassan actually react to the shooting. And that genuinely made me feel like there was a chance at him actually being redeemed and realizing that,
There's
hey, he's
literally
fucked up.
nothing redeemable about Hassan. No matter what, he does not deserve any
But
redemption. Even if he said that everything about that shooting is wrong, everything before then and everything you know he would say since, like just
absolutely,
because you are
absolutely.
just because you are empathetic of one situation does not
But
absolve you of anything or even give you 1 point.
but could you see where like that could actually be a line of hope?
No, he's
Oh,
a fucking
maybe
evil, irredeemable scumbag.
yeah, but you watch him like, oh my god, this happened. Like you see his face of like, oh my god, that could happen to me.
And
And like
that's not or that's not redemption. That's not a line of hope. That's someone just like I could be.
realizing real life is real life, and oh my
Yeah.
god, the things that I've done are fucking horrible. And like I'm calling for violence, I'm doing these things, and none of it is okay. Like you hope that like maybe there's a line of change. You hope
Actually,
maybe
not even
the
that.
realization is like there at some point.
No,
And it's
his
just
realization
fucking
is,
not.
oh fuck, I'm tied to this. I'm in trouble because people are going to blame this on me because I know I'm blamable for this. That's the realization, not oh that could be me. The realization is oh I'm literally implicated in this and it's impossible to deny and I'm not even I can deny that to myself. That's that realization. The realization is I'm in trouble for this and he knows he is.
And now, did you see who's coming after him and who's actually a part of this? I was thoroughly surprised. Elon Musk is tweeting openly about to Jeff Bezos
I'm not
getting
surprised at all.
Hassan banned.
No, like this is in line with Elon's behavior entirely. So yeah.
Well, yeah, because he's a shit poster and he's so involved in internet culture. I completely agree with that part.
hmm
But like the fact that he's not only probably privately texted him or called him about it, but also publicly put him on warning that,
hmm
hey, I'm letting people know that I want you
Yeah,
to
that's
fucking
what I mean.
see
Like
this.
Elon, I really hope Elon did contact Bezos and be like, "Do you understand what's happening at Twitch? This subsidiary or this purchase of your company, like how bad it's gotten? Here, let me show you." If he's done that, it's like then Hassan should already be gone. So I don't know what's developing, what the relationship between Bezos and Elon is, but yeah, like Hassan has to get it, and he
But
already
it
needed to
makes
be he needed to be perm banned 10 times over by this point.
Oh, I completely agree. Both him and Frogan 100% should be gone. There's a few other people that are questionable, but they should have 100% been gone just about the 9/11 comments.
Hmm.
Like, not just because we shouldn't be able to talk about it, but you openly calling for people's death or you openly saying that people should have died is
Or
fucking
celebrating death.
insane.
We deserve to have our 9/11. It's like, yeah, you shouldn't be allowed to exist on any platform in this country to celebrate such a tragedy that has affected this country so greatly.
Like, and I don't know if I'm just more understanding in these situations because I've had death threats, because I've been doxxed, because I've been openly like threatened and everything else. But like, this shit isn't a fucking game. Like, why the fuck does everybody think it is? Like, you get one fucking life, you fucking weirdos. One.
Well, the thing about grifting is they know it isn't a game, and they're utilizing they have full awareness of the situation. They're just utilizing it for its own for their own gain.
But it just it feels so
It's just the
it
willful
feels
lying
so
that makes it
reductive.
impossible to. It's willful lying that makes it impossible to engage with Democrats. We've already been over this earlier in the episode. It's deliberate. It's all deliberate for their political power because that's the communist agenda. It's very simple.